The moment Rafael Nadal picked up his phone in Mallorca, he expected the usual updates from his academy: training schedules, student progress, the quiet rhythm of life in retirement. What he found instead made even the 22-time Grand Slam champion pause. Videos were flooding in from Linz, Austria, a city better known for its pastry than its tennis. Thousands of Filipino flags filled the stands of the Tips Arena Linz. Chants of Laban Alex echoed through streets that had never heard Tagalog before. And at the center of it all was Alex Eala, the 20-year-old Filipina who had trained at his academy for 7 years, who had once chased him through Madrid airport for a photo, who had become the biggest phenomenon the sport had seen since his own prime. The numbers were staggering. An estimated 30,000 Filipino fans had traveled to Austria for the Upper Austria Ladies Linz tournament, a WTA 500 event that had never drawn more than a few thousand spectators in its 35-year history. They came from Vienna, from Germany, from Switzerland, from across Europe. They booked hotels, filled restaurants, turned a quiet Austrian city into a celebration of Filipino pride. And when Nadal saw the footage, he did something that stunned the tennis world. He didn't just congratulate Eala, he called her former critics to come and pick up a racket and fight me. A fatherly defense that revealed just how deeply he believes in the young woman who has become the heir to his legacy. April 8, 2026, Linz, Austria. The Upper Austria Ladies Linz tournament had been running for 35 years. It had seen legends come and go: Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, Angelique Kerber, Coco Gauff. But nothing could have prepared tournament organizers for what descended upon their city in the spring of 2026. The Filipino diaspora had mobilized. An estimated 30,000 fans traveled to Austria for the tournament, flooding into Linz from across Europe, their flights booked months in advance, their hotels reserved, their flags packed in carry-on luggage. They came from Vienna, where the largest Filipino community in Austria resides. They came from Germany, where over 100,000 Filipinos live and work. They came from Switzerland, from Italy, from the United Kingdom, anywhere a direct flight could carry them to see their hero. For the Tips Arena Linz, which holds 5,000 spectators, the demand was impossible to satisfy. The tournament had to move Eala's matches to the larger Tips Arena, the city's main event hall, to accommodate the crowds. Even then, tickets sold out within hours of release, with fans camping overnight outside the box office. The scenes were unlike anything Austrian tennis had ever witnessed. Thousands of fans lined up before dawn, wrapped in Philippine flags, their chants echoing through the city streets. Local businesses, accustomed to the quiet rhythms of a regional tournament, suddenly found themselves overwhelmed. Restaurants ran out of food, hotels sold out weeks in advance. The city's tourist board, caught completely off guard, scrambled to produce Filipino-language welcome brochures. Tournament officials who had spent decades building relationships with local sponsors and media were left scrambling to understand what had happened. "We've never seen anything like this," one official told reporters, his voice carrying the exhaustion of someone who had been working 18-hour days just to keep up. The demand for tickets, the media requests, the sheer number of people, it's like a Grand Slam, but in Linz. The Eala effect, which had already crashed ticket systems in Miami and sparked 48% ticket surges in Dubai, had now crossed the Atlantic. And in Austria, it was rewriting the rules of what a WTA 500 event could be. The bond between Alex Eala and Rafael Nadal is not a casual mentorship. It is a relationship forged over 7 years at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, where Eala arrived as a 12-year-old scholarship student from the Philippines and trained until her graduation in 2023. She grew up on the same courts where Nadal had honed his game, absorbing the philosophy, the work ethic, the relentless discipline that had made him a legend. In those 7 years, she became more than a student. She became family. Žižka Perejó, Nadal's wife, had spoken about the bond in a rare interview, calling Eala family and describing how she had watched the young Filipina grow up within the walls of the academy. She arrived as a child, carrying the hopes of a nation that had never seen itself in this sport, Žižka said. She leaves as a champion, not just of tennis, but of the values we hold closest: humility, perseverance, grace. The Nadal family has been present at every milestone of Eala's career. When she made her stunning run to the Miami Open semifinals in 2025, defeating 3 Grand Slam champions, including Iga Świątek, in straight sets, Nadal was watching. He posted his support on social media, writing, "We are extremely proud of you, Alex. What an incredible tournament. Let's keep dreaming." When she reached her first WTA final in Eastbourne just months later, falling in a heartbreaking 3-setter after holding match points, Nadal was there again. "The first final of many finals, Alex Eala 05, he wrote. And when Eala needed him most, he was there too. In September 2025, after a controversial loss that sparked online criticism, Nadal called an emergency press conference at his academy and delivered a fatherly defense that stunned the tennis world. "Alexandra is not just a talented young player, she is a once-in-a-generation legacy of tennis," he said, his voice carrying the emotion of someone who had watched her struggle and succeed. "If anyone doubts her, come out and pick up a racket and fight me." The defense, which went viral within hours, was not just about tennis, it was about protection. It was about a mentor who saw his own journey reflected in his protégé and refused to let the world break her spirit. Now, watching the scenes from Linz, the 30,000 fans, the sold-out stadiums, the transformation of a quiet Austrian city into a celebration of Filipino pride, Nadal saw something else. He saw the culmination of everything he had believed in when he first welcomed a 12-year-old girl from Manila to his academy. The statistics from the Upper Austria Ladies Linz tournament tell a story that no one could have predicted. Eala's presence drove a 300% increase in ticket sales compared to the previous year, a surge that tournament officials had neither anticipated nor budgeted for. The final, which pitted Eala against a higher-ranked opponent, drew a capacity crowd of 7,500, the largest attendance in the tournament's 35-year history. Merchandise sales featuring Eala's name and image accounted for 65% of all revenue, with fans purchasing jerseys, caps, and towels to commemorate the occasion. The official tournament store sold out of Eala merchandise within the first 3 days, forcing organizers to place emergency orders with suppliers. The economic impact on Linz was equally staggering. Local hotels reported 98% occupancy during the tournament week, numbers typically reserved for the city's famous Christmas markets. Restaurants in the city center stayed open late to accommodate the crowds, with many reporting record sales. The Linz Tourist Board, which had initially dismissed the tournament as a minor event on the city's calendar, was forced to hire additional staff to handle the influx of visitors. "The city has been transformed," one local business owner told reporters. "We've never seen anything like this. It's like a festival, not a tennis tournament." The media attention was equally unprecedented. International outlets that had never covered the Linz Open sent reporters to cover Eala's matches. Philippine news stations broadcast live from the city, their anchors standing in front of the Tips Arena with the Philippine flag waving behind them. Social media was flooded with images of the Filipino diaspora gathered in Austria, their flags waving, their voices raised in song. Even the players took notice. Eala's opponents, many of whom had never experienced the Eala effect firsthand, described the atmosphere as unbelievable and like playing in a Davis Cup tie. One veteran player, speaking anonymously, admitted that she had been rattled by the noise. It's hard to focus when the crowd is that loud. You feel like you're playing against 5,000 people, not just one player. For Eala, the support was both a blessing and a burden. She had spoken before about the weight of expectation, about the challenge of staying grounded when thousands of fans were screaming her name. But in Linz, she channeled the energy into her tennis, advancing deep into the tournament and proving once again that she belonged on the biggest stages. When Rafael Nadal saw the videos from Linz, his reaction was immediate and emotional. In an interview from Mallorca, the 22-time Grand Slam champion spoke about what Eala's success meant to him and to the academy that had shaped her. "I have watched Alex grow from a child into a woman," Nadal said, his voice carrying the weight of someone who had witnessed the journey firsthand. "She arrived at the academy at 12 years old, so young, so far from home. She didn't speak the language, she didn't know anyone. But she had something special, a fire, a determination, a refusal to give up." He paused, gathering himself. "To see her now, to see 30,000 Filipinos traveling to Austria just to watch her play, it is incredible. It is beyond anything I could have imagined when she first walked through our doors. She is not just a tennis player, she is an inspiration. She is proof that with hard work and belief, anything is possible." Nadal also addressed the critics who had questioned Eala's ranking, her results, her ability to sustain her success. His words were as pointed as they were fatherly. "When people doubt her, it makes me angry," he said. "She has worked harder than anyone knows, she has sacrificed more than anyone sees, and she has already achieved more than most players will achieve in a lifetime. The ranking does not define her, the critics do not define her, she defines herself." He ended with a message that echoed his earlier defense of Eala. "To anyone who doubts her, I say the same thing I said before. Come to Mallorca, pick up a racket, fight me, because I believe in her, and I will always believe in her." The interview, which was shared across social media within hours, was a reminder of the bond between the two left-handers, a bond that transcends coaching, transcends tennis, transcends the boundaries of sport. It is the bond of a mentor who sees himself in his student, a father who watches his daughter grow, a champion who knows that his legacy will be carried forward by the players he has helped to shape. The scenes in Linz, 30,000 Filipino fans, a sold-out arena, a city transformed, are a testament to what Alex Eala has become. But they are also a testament to the foundation that Rafael Nadal helped to build. Eala has spoken openly about the role the Rafa Nadal Academy played in her development. In a podcast interview with Andy Roddick, she recalled her first meeting with Nadal, a moment that could have been awkward, but instead became the beginning of a lifelong connection. "We chased him down at the Madrid airport," Eala said, laughing at the memory. "We were on our way to the academy for a trial, and we just happened to see him, so we ran after him and asked for a photo. He was so gracious, so kind. It was the perfect way to start." That chance encounter, a nervous teenager chasing her idol through an airport, would become the foundation of a relationship that has shaped her career. Nadal's support, both public and private, has been unwavering. He has celebrated her victories, consoled her defeats, defended her against critics, and cheered her on from afar. "I've been following her for a while," Nadal said in a recent interview. "I've watched her grow, not just as a player, but as a person. She has always carried herself with grace, with humility, with a sense of purpose. That is what makes her special. Not the wins, not the rankings, but the person she is. That person is now the face of a movement, a symbol of Filipino excellence on the global stage. And as she continues her career, she carries with her the lessons of the academy, the support of the Nadal family, and the love of a nation that sees itself in her."
The Czech curse remains unbroken. Her record against players from the Czech Republic stands at 0-13. The ranking points she lost in Miami will need to be earned back. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but she has something that no ranking can measure: the belief of a legend. Nadal's words will echo in her ears as she walks onto the clay in Madrid, in Rome, in Paris. They will remind her that she is not alone, that she has a family behind her, that the man who won 22 Grand Slams believes in her. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful weapon any athlete can have.
Rafael Nadal watched from Mallorca as 30,000 Filipino fans descended upon Linz, Austria for Alex Eala's debut at the Upper Austria Ladies Linz tournament. The scenes were unprecedented. Sold-out stadiums, overflowing hotels, a city transformed into a celebration of Filipino pride. And when the 22-time Grand Slam champion saw the footage, his reaction was immediate and emotional. He spoke about watching Eala grow from a 12-year-old girl at his academy into a global phenomenon. He defended her against critics who had questioned her ranking and her results, and he issued a challenge to anyone who doubted her. Come to Mallorca, pick up a racket, fight me. The bond between Nadal and Eala is not just a mentorship, it is a father-daughter relationship, forged over 7 years at the Rafael Nadal Academy, where Eala trained from the age of 12 until her graduation in 2023. It is a connection that has seen Nadal celebrate her victories, console her defeats, and defend her against criticism. Now, as Eala prepares for the clay season, Madrid, Rome, Roland Garros, she carries with her something that no ranking can measure: the belief of a legend. The Czech curse remains unbroken. Her record against players from the Czech Republic stands at 0-13. But she has something more powerful than any statistic: the love of a nation and the faith of a champion. What do you think about the bond between Nadal and Eala? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Angela. Subscribe to Rally Radar now for daily WTA news, match breakdowns, and stories that go beyond the scoreline, because at Rally Radar, every day is match day.